Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a good day. It is coming up on the noon hour on Friday. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill coming to you today from KGW TV, which is why you see all the monitors behind me. And our weather today is fantastic. We're looking at statewide inland areas around 80 degrees on this Friday afternoon, all the way to the Idaho border. And because of the comfortable temperatures, these normals considered about normal for this time of the year. There are no red flag warnings, no warnings for bad fire weather, so to speak. So that's good news. Of course, we continue to track fires in Central Oregon that have shown good containment over the last couple of days. And then a new grasslands fire that's out in Malheur County in southeastern Oregon that we're watching. But the big story to me, with nice weather this weekend, is what could be developing on Thursday, July 4th. That's next week, of course, into Sunday, July 7th. And we're talking about a possible heat wave like we have not seen so far this year. Valley temperatures could hit 90 or better starting on Thursday, July 4th. And some of the modeling has been hinting at for several days now that not only in the 90s, but maybe there's a risk of hitting 100 degrees or slightly better on, well, you could say on Friday and on Saturday over the weekend. So that's the big story. This could change, but it's been showing up, and I want to put out the alert, so to speak, for you to keep updated on forecast for your plans, especially if you have some vacation time following July 4th into that weekend. This is the American GFS model, and I'll explain this to you, but right here, these darker kind of brick colors outlined in brown, if you will. This is a heat dome that's showing up on the American GFS model. This is Saturday, June 6th, so a week from this weekend. And all these numbers, what these numbers are numbers in Celsius at 850 millibars, so at 5,000 feet. And I will tell you as a forecaster, basically when you see a plus 20, you figure you're at least going to be 90 here in our local area. If you see a plus 25, it tells you we have a chance to be 100 in our local area. If you see a plus 30, now you're looking at temperatures of 110 or better, and that reminds you of the all-time record that Portland hit of 116. Now, clearly what you're looking at here shows numbers of plus 30 or higher in Utah and Nevada, and their local formulas for how hot that is different than ours. So this shows plus 17, plus 18 here in the Willamette Valley for Saturday, June 6th. So that would be a temperature of at least hitting 90 and maybe as warm as 96. There are other data points that suggest that we have a chance to hit 100 degrees. So I'm just throwing that out there. Easily in the 90s, maybe up to 100 degrees is what we're tracking. I want to give you a heads up on that. But it's clearly a big heat dome that looks like it's going to be settling over the west. All right, quick word for our sponsor, the Momentous Wealth Podcast. Again, you can find these investing topic podcasts on Apple Podcasts, and you can listen on Spotify as well. Brought to you by Todd Pisarchik's team at Momentous Wealth Management, licensed in both Portland and Oregon. So we thank Todd as always for that. Okay, let's get you going with the topic of the day, and that is the heat that I'm tracking next week. This is sticking with the American GFS model. I would tell you the European model pretty much matches what the American GFS model is showing. So this is a 5,000 foot air mass tracking map. It doesn't have any temperatures on it, but the colors are coded as you think they would be. So this is this afternoon. We're getting up to about 80, 81. So white would be a normal batch of air, slightly warmer, getting into the yellow and the oranges, and cooler, the blues and greens and so forth. So it does show you the streamlines, which is the northwest wind flow. Temperatures near normal with sunshine this time of the year, right about 80, 81. That's where our forecast is projecting. Now we have some mid to high level clouds that will pass tomorrow. This shows the actual batch of air on Saturday, in light blue is a little bit cooler. So we could hit 80 tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised, especially if we have quite a bit of mid to high level cloudiness if we hold in the 70s, but certainly very comfortable. And then we'll take this into Sunday. Sunday morning, I am tracking a marine layer that might be deep enough to produce some mist or some drizzle. So some traces of light moisture potentially Saturday overnight into Sunday morning. During the day, Sunday, I think we become sunny. Notice that the air mass is very comfortable, normal to slightly below. I think a lot of the state could actually be held in the 70s on Sunday. That's really terrific stuff for this time of the year. And then, of course, Monday starts July 1st. And here is Monday afternoon. Still in a comfortable batch of air, much of the state potentially in the 70s. And then we'll go into Tuesday. We're still dry. Now, notice we've got warmer air now building coming up southwesterly from the Pacific into California. I think we have a chance on Tuesday to be up to around 80. This would indicate maybe a little bit cooler than that, but certainly comfortable through Tuesday is the main messaging. And then Wednesday is the day that now we're starting to see a warm up. You can see we're getting into the above normal colors of yellow and orange. This would shoot us up well into the 80s. I have us at 85 on Wednesday, starting to see perhaps heat wave warnings in parts of California where you see the brown and the orange colors. And then we go into Thursday, July 4th. Let's see what this shows. Now, look how the warm colors have expanded all the way up through Oregon, Washington, Idaho, even up into parts of British Columbia, up into Canada, with the darker red colors being the best bet for temperatures to hit 100 degrees. But this would indicate the potential of getting up into the 90s for only the fifth day this year on on July 4th, which is, of course, Thursday of next week. Now, keep in mind, Portland's only made it to 90 degrees 4 times so far this year, twice in May, twice in June. And the hottest temperature we've had at the airport is 92. What I'm tracking is that we would easily be into the 90s on Thursday and perhaps up into the mid 90s, becoming the hottest weather that we have seen so far this season. And then here's that hot air mass still overhead on Friday. Here's that hot air mass still overhead on Saturday, blanketing much of the West. Here's that hot air mass on Sunday, July 7th, still blanketing much of the West. And there's some discrepancies in the models as to when this would break down. Whenever you get a strong upper level feature, be it an upper level low, or in this case, an upper level high, that would classify as a heat dome, the models have a tough time of when exactly it washes out, when the flow pattern kind of unkinks itself. Because to get an upper level high, you've got a big ridge. So you've got things blocking, and it takes a while to kind of work that out, if you will. But that is your heads up of really what I want you to know. So it's gorgeous out on this Friday. 11:30 in the morning, Portland's at 70 degrees. Down in Medford, it's 72. It's 59 up in Seattle. Everybody is dry. Here's the forecast. Medford in the 80s through the weekend. And then look how Medford, Southern Oregon, starts to heat up. Wednesday of next week, 95, right around 100 degrees on Independence Day. This shows 99 degrees. So definitely some heat coming and something to watch. Over in Bend, 68 currently. Like Portland, close to 80 through the weekend. Really nice, comfortable weather. Warming up 87 on Wednesday, getting near 90 on Independence Day. That's Thursday of next week. Okay. Let's go over to the coast. Here's Newport. 60s over the weekend, and they show 60s through Independence Day. Wind flow patterns on Thursday of next week look to be north to northeast, so there could be some warmer beach areas. Let's see what Astoria is showing. Astoria, this shows Seaside actually the same, 69. But watch for beach temperatures to potentially get up into the 80s anyway. Maybe if not on Thursday of next week, on Friday into Saturday, going into that weekend following July 4th. Up in Seattle, 70s through the weekend, really comfortable weather, starting to warm up. And again, these models, I think right now, these forecast outputs that the National Weather Service is showing are probably somewhat conservative. So I would love Seattle's chances of getting up to 80 degrees on Independence Day, or at least being up into the 80s. Here's my 7-day forecast, courtesy of Hazeldale Tire Pros. 81 this afternoon, 80 tomorrow. I may rethink that. It's going to be at least 76, 77, could hit 80. Sunday, morning clouds to sun, 78. Monday's comfortable. Tuesday still comfortable at 82. And there's that Wednesday warm up. Remember, that's when that warm to hot air is now starting to move across California and push up into Oregon. 85. I've got us jumping up to 93, maybe even warmer, maybe even hotter. It could be mid 90s on Independence Day. But right now, confidence is building. We will be in the 90s. And it would be mid to upper 90s with a chance of maybe 100 degrees on Friday or Saturday. Is it possible that this area of heat will reposition itself and all of a sudden the forecast will be lowered temperature-wise with the hot dome, the heat dome staying to our south? That's possible. But for now, we're in that risk area for extreme heat. So there is your early alert to keep updated. Thanks for subscribing to my channel. I appreciate it. I'm meteorologist Rod Hill, and I'll talk to you soon.